At first, she plays it off, cool, detached, as if nothing's changed. But when she's alone, that's when reality sets in. And here's the real twist. It's not your silence that makes her miss you. It's what happens after. Stay with me, because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly how to turn this to your advantage and make her feel your absence like never before. Sign number 1, she reaches out, but never directly. She told herself she wouldn't text, convinced herself she had control, swore she was over it. But now she hesitates. Her fingers hover over your name, her mind racing. Should she send that message? Should she break the silence? She held out for days, maybe even weeks, believing that ignoring you would put her in power. But here's the thing about silence. It doesn't just sit there. It builds. It spreads. It forces people to question their own choices. So she cracks, but subtly. It's never, "I miss you," or "I regret what happened." That would be too direct, too vulnerable. Instead, she masks it with something casual. "Hey, I just saw something that reminded me of you." A simple sentence, right? Wrong. The real translation? "Have you forgotten me?" Or maybe she doesn't text at all. Maybe she lurks, liking an old post, reacting to a story, just enough to remind you she's still there. She's testing you, prodding, trying to see if she still has a grip on your mind. And if you take the bait, if you reply too quickly, she gets her answer. You're still hooked. And just like that, she pulls back, satisfied. But if you ignore it, if you stay distant, that's when the panic sets in. Because if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't need to check in. The moment she realizes she's losing her hold on you, that's when the real chase begins. Sign number 2, she turns social media into a weapon. Ever noticed how right after you disappear, she suddenly floods your feed? More selfies, more updates, more attention-grabbing posts. That's not a coincidence. It's a calculated move. When a woman misses you but refuses to admit it, she won't reach out directly. That would mean surrendering. Instead, she plays the game differently. She makes sure you see her, without ever having to say a word. So what does she do? She activates social media mode. First, the pictures. Suddenly, she's glowing. Flawless angles, perfect lighting, captions dripping with just the right amount of mystery. Not for her followers, for you. Then, the cryptic messages. Everything happens for a reason. Some people are lessons, not blessings. Or even worse, song lyrics about heartbreak, longing, and moving on. Is it about you? She won't say. But she wants you to wonder. And then comes the nuclear option. A throwback photo from a time you were together, subtle enough to seem innocent, but intentional enough to pull you into the past. Maybe even a post about relationships, self-worth, or how she's learning to let go. But here's where it gets interesting. When all of that doesn't work, she escalates. She starts posting with other people, laughing, looking happier than ever. But not because she's moved on. She wants you to see it. She wants you to question it. It's a classic psychological move. Provoke jealousy, force you into action, plant a seed of doubt, make you wonder, has she really moved on? And here's the part that will drive her insane. If you don't react, she starts to spiral. Every post, every story, every baited attempt, it's all a test. And the moment she realizes you're not biting, not chasing, not even flinching, that's when the panic sets in. Because suddenly, she's the one who's losing control. Sign number 3. She starts digging for clues but won't admit it. She won't text you. She won't call. Her pride won't let her. But that doesn't mean she's moved on. Far from it. Instead, she takes another route, one that doesn't expose her, but still gets her the answers she desperately wants. She starts asking about you. At first it seems casual. A simple question to a mutual friend. Hey, how's he been? But make no mistake, this isn't small talk. This is intel gathering. What she really wants to ask is he suffering without me? Is he still thinking about me? Has he found someone else? Because in her mind, you should be struggling, checking her socials, lurking in the shadows, hoping for a sign that she misses you too. That's what she expects. But here's where it all falls apart for her, when she hears the truth, that you're not heartbroken, that you're not chasing, that you're not even watching. That's when panic sets in. She thought she had control. She thought her silence would leave you restless, waiting, longing. But instead, you're silent. You've disappeared. And that realization stings in a way she never saw coming. Because now, doubt creeps in. Wait, was I not that special to him? Then fear. Did he already move on? And finally, pure panic. What if he's with someone else? And just like that, the power shifts. She's no longer the one being chased. Now, she's the one chasing. A carefully planned trigger. She wants you to react, to question, to slip, just a little. But now, you see it for what it is. Because if she was really over you, she wouldn't be showing up in your world, hoping you'd take the bait. So what do? Nothing. You keep moving. Because the moment she realizes her presence doesn't shake you, that's when the real panic sets in. Sign number 5. The moment she realizes she lost you. At first, she convinced herself she made the right choice. She stayed silent, played it cool, told herself she'd never look back. But then, something changed. The silence isn't comforting anymore. It's suffocating. The space she thought she needed, now it feels like a void. And suddenly she can't ignore the one thought creeping into her mind. Did I make a mistake? And this is where the hints begin. She won't come right out and say it. Her pride won't allow that. But she'll leave breadcrumbs. A cryptic social media post. Some mistakes you don't realize until it's too late. A text about a random memory. Hey, do you remember that night when we... Or worse, the late night message. I miss talking to you. She's testing the waters, seeing if there's still a chance. But then comes the real shift. The moment pride fully crumbles. She apologizes. Maybe it's subtle. I know I could have handled things better. Maybe it's deeper. I didn't appreciate you when I had you. Or maybe it's raw. I never wanted things to end like this. And this is where you have the power. Because she expected time to heal the distance. She never expected time to make her regret. Now she doesn't just miss you. She realizes she lost you. And the question isn't whether she wants you back. It's whether she'll ever get that chance. But here's the real move. The one that will leave a permanent mark. Don't give her certainty. Because once a woman truly understands that she lost something valuable, she will never forget it. Sign number 6. Her emotions start to spiral, and she can't hide it. At first, she played the part perfectly, calm, composed, unbothered. Almost like losing you meant nothing. But that was just an act. Because emotions don't just vanish. They build, they fester, and eventually, they explode. At first, she convinced herself she was fine, that she was in control, that walking away from you was the right choice. But then, reality sets in. She starts feeling it, the emptiness, the shift, the silence. And suddenly, she's not as in control as she thought. And here's where things get messy. One moment, she's all smiles online, glowing, laughing, showing the world she's thriving, posting pictures that scream, "Look how happy I am without him." The next, she snaps. Her patience shortens. Small things set her off. She's picking fights, lashing out, becoming unpredictable. Maybe with friends, maybe with family, maybe even with total strangers. Why? Because deep down everything leads back to you. She won't admit it. She'll pretend you're not the reason. But here's the truth. If she was really over you, she wouldn't be this emotional at all. And it gets even more obvious when she sees you. If you cross paths, even by accident, her entire energy shifts. She might go cold, act distant, maybe even snap at you for no reason. And you might think, wow, she must really not care. But that's not indifference. That's a reaction. A woman who's truly moved on, she wouldn't feel the need to act like this. No cryptic posts, no jealousy traps, no forced coldness. But when she's overly emotional, defensive, unpredictable, that's when you know she's still feeling everything. And here's where the power flips. While she's unraveling, you're steady, focused, calm, and nothing will drive her crazier than realizing she's losing control over you. But you've already regained control over yourself. Sign number 7. She starts haunting your world like a ghost. At first, she was nowhere to be found. Vanished. No texts, no calls, no trace of her in the places you once shared. But now, she's everywhere. You walk into your favorite coffee shop, and there she is, sitting at a table that used to be yours, stirring a drink she never even liked before. You hit the gym, and suddenly, she's there too, running on the treadmill, stretching, pretending she just happened to pick this place. You're at an event with mutual friends, and somehow she's made sure she's on the guest list. This isn't fate, it's strategy. Because here's the truth. A woman who's genuinely moving on doesn't chase memories. She doesn't linger where ghosts of the past still whisper. She stays away. But a woman who misses you, she doesn't just remember the past, she tries to relive it. And she won't just show up. She'll make sure you notice. She walks in like she owns the room, dressed better than ever. A calculated mix of confidence and indifference, like she's thriving, like she never even thinks about you. But watch closely. Her eyes betray her. She's scanning, searching, waiting for that one glance, that flicker of emotion on your face that tells her she still has an effect on you. And then comes the final move, the accidental run-in. At the grocery store, outside a place she knows you frequent, walking the same street you always take as if she just happened to be there. But nothing here is accidental. She's testing you, pushing buttons without pressing them directly, asking a question without speaking a word. Do I still have power over you? And this is where most men fail. They react, they show excitement, they approach her, handing her the validation she was looking for. But the ones who understand the game, they don't flinch. They acknowledge her presence with nothing more than a glance and keep moving. And in that moment, something shifts. Because she showed up. She put herself in your world. She gave you every opportunity to chase, and you didn't. And that drives her absolutely insane. Sign number 8. She stops hiding her misery. At first, she was the queen of pretending. Flawless selfies, wild nights out, a perfectly curated show of, I'm better than ever. But here's the thing about pretending. It doesn't last. Slowly, the cracks begin to form. And if you pay attention, you'll see them. A late-night post that feels too personal. A song lyric about regret and loss. A vague caption. Some mistakes you don't see until it's too late. Then it gets even clearer. A photo of a place you two used to go, no explanation, no context. Just a silent reminder of what she lost. She's not reaching out to you directly, but make no mistake, this is for you. She's testing the waters, hoping you'll take the hint, hoping you'll break first. Because the second you do, she wins. She gets to tell herself, see? He still thinks about me. He still cares. And this is where most men fall into the trap. They see the signs. They take the bait. They reach out, thinking they're offering comfort, when in reality, they're handing over all the power. But the real move? Do nothing. The longer you stay silent, the deeper it sinks in. The regret, the emptiness, the realization that you're not coming back. And then, she's the one left with the choice. Do I swallow my pride, or do I lose him forever? And trust me, that moment will haunt her. Sign number 9. She tries to make you jealous because she's losing control. At first, she was patient. She told herself you'd crack, that you'd come running back. But days passed, then weeks. And you? You didn't chase. You didn't text. You vanished, and that's when she panics. Now she has to get a reaction, any reaction, and when words fail, she turns to jealousy. Suddenly, her social media lights up. A picture with another guy, close enough to suggest something, but vague enough to keep you guessing. Or maybe it's a casual remark she slips to a mutual friend. Yeah, I've been seeing someone new. Not because she's moved on, but because she wants to make sure you haven't. Or maybe it's worse. Maybe she deliberately flirts in front of you, laughs louder, touches his arm, steals glances to see if you're watching. She's not enjoying the moment. She's studying you, waiting for a sign that you still care, that she still has power, that she can still pull you back in. But here's the truth. A woman who's really moved on doesn't play games. She doesn't need to prove anything. She doesn't orchestrate scenes for your attention. The moment she starts forcing jealousy, she's already exposed herself. She's not doing this because she's happy. She's doing it because she's losing grip. And this is where most men fail. They react, get jealous, send a text, ask questions, and the second they do, she wins. Because now she knows she still owns space in your mind. But the ones who understand the game, they don't flinch. No texts, no reaction, just silence. And the more she realizes her tricks aren't working, the more it eats her alive. Because now for the first time, she's the one feeling powerless. Sign number 10, she finally breaks and reaches out. This is it, the moment everything flips. She swore she wouldn't do it. She told herself she was stronger than this. She played every game in the book, posting, teasing, dropping hints, even trying to make you jealous. But nothing worked. You never cracked. And now, she's unraveling. She can't stop thinking about you. Your silence isn't just noticeable, it's unbearable. She rereads old messages, wonders if you ever think about her, checks your profile hoping for a sign, and then she breaks. The message comes through. Maybe it's innocent, something soft, something safe. Hey, how have you been? I just wanted to check in. Or the classic accidental text. Oops, wrong person. Right? Sure. But here's what you need to understand. This is not casual. This is her last move. The moment when pride collapses and emotions take over. She thought she had control, thought she could walk away, but now she's the one chasing. And this is where most men lose the advantage. They get too excited. They respond too fast, show too much emotion, and the moment they do, she wins. She gets her validation, the comfort of knowing she could still pull you back if she wanted to. But the ones who truly understand, they don't flinch. No excitement, no over-explaining, just calm, steady, unshaken. And that's when it really hits her. She didn't just lose you. She lost the power she thought she had over you. And trust me, that realization will haunt her more than anything else. Sign number 11, she tries to replace you and fails miserably. At first, she convinces herself it's time to move on, a fresh start, a new guy, a clean slate. She re-downloads the dating apps, accepts invitations, smiles through forced conversations, tells herself, this is good for me. This is what I need. But then, it happens. She's sitting across from someone new, nodding, pretending to be interested, but something feels off. The conversation doesn't flow the same way. The jokes don't land. The chemistry isn't there. She brushes it off. I just need to give it time. But date after date, the same thought creeps in. He's not you. The way he laughs, different. The way he listens, lacking. The way he looks at her, doesn't spark the same fire. And then it gets worse. She realizes it's not just him who's different. She's different too. With you, she felt something deep, real, unspoken understanding. A connection that wasn't forced. Now, every interaction feels empty, superficial, forgettable. She catches herself zoning out, replaying moments with you, wondering if she was too quick to walk away. And then, the final blow. She thought time would erase you, Instead, it's only made her see what she lost. Now every guy is just a reminder that no matter how hard she tries, she can't replace you. Sign number 12. She starts drowning in nostalgia and can't escape it. At first, she convinced herself she was fine, that time would wash you away, that eventually you'd be nothing more than a passing thought. But then, it starts. She finds herself scrolling through old photos, ones she swore she'd delete. But she doesn't. Instead, she lingers, watching, replaying, feeling. Then, it happens everywhere. A song comes on, and suddenly, she's right back in your car, singing off-key, laughing, looking at you like you were the only person in the world. She catches a familiar scent in the air, and it stops her in her tracks. It's not just a smell anymore. It's a memory. She walks past a place you used to go together, and it punches her in the gut. The past isn't fading, it's haunting her. At first, she tries to fight it, tells herself she's just overthinking, but nostalgia doesn't let go easily. And then, the worst part, she realizes she's not just missing you, she's losing pieces of herself. Because when she was with you, she felt something real, something deep. And now, she's terrified she'll never feel that way again. That's why she can't move on. Not truly. And if she reaches out, it won't just be because she misses you. It'll be because the idea of living without you is starting to feel unbearable. If this video gave you clarity, hit the like button and subscribe for more. And if you want to know how to make her miss you even more, check out the next video on your screen now.